This isn't just a piece of news, it's a spiritual transmission. June 3rd arrives with an undeniable presence, one that doesn't wait politely for your attention, but demands it with a fierce, unyielding energy. It's a moment that won't linger long, a doorway opening briefly before closing, inviting only the most attuned to step through and witness the transformation underway. This day is not merely another date on the calendar. It carries a profound purpose, one that resonates far deeper than the surface of time. On June 3rd, the first quarter moon slices through the sky with a sharp decisiveness, not a gentle caress. It forces a reckoning with the parts of ourselves and our lives that we have been avoiding. Those uncomfortable truths and unresolved tensions tucked away beneath layers of distraction and denial. The moon's light is not interested in maintaining peace or comfort. It insists on illumination. It pulls back the curtains on what once felt certain, revealing the fragility beneath the facade of stability. What you believed to be final may begin to shift beneath your feet, and the ground you thought you stood on may start to feel unsteady. Beneath this shift is a quiet, invisible force rewriting the rules, changing the landscape of your inner world while the world at large remains unaware. The energy moving through this day doesn't wait for permission or consent. It is already in motion, reshaping your choices and unsettling your comfort zones. It exposes truths that have been buried for too long, truths that can no longer be ignored, no matter how deeply you try to hide them. Many will dismiss this as coincidence, a passing mood, or simply the random ebb and flow of life. But you won't. You are awake to the subtle currents of change. You stand at the threshold of something sacred and undeniable, a shift so real it cannot be explained away or minimized. It is a crossroads where the future begins to bend and stretch, where your readiness to face reality will determine the path forward. The moon on this day is not a passive witness. It rises with an intensity like a blade cutting through a dense fog. The first quarter moon represents a celestial moment of decision, a point where the lunar surface is split between light and shadow, reflecting a natural tension, a beautiful friction in the cosmos. Symbolically, this is the space where intention meets resistance, the sacred pause between dreaming and becoming. The universe is watching, not to judge, but to witness if your choices align with your deepest truth. It asks whether your actions truly reflect your words and if you are walking in harmony with your authentic self. Emotionally, the energy of this moon does not provoke panic, but stirs a restless kind of awareness. It's not anxiety, but a deep call to attention, an urge to listen more closely and act more deliberately. You might feel pulled between two directions, a tension that is often mistaken for confusion. But in truth, it is clarity trying to emerge from the fog of uncertainty. This moment, this exact now, holds profound significance. June 3rd is a threshold, a disguised turning point where the choices you make reverberate far beyond the ordinary, echoing with amplified power and consequence. There is a subtle pressure building beneath the surface, not harsh or loud, but persistent like background noise you have learned to ignore. It's been carried through everyday decisions, quiet compromises, and that nagging sense that something is off, even if you cannot quite name it. June 3rd does not add to this burden, but reveals it, shining a light on the weight you have been silently carrying. It shows you the hidden parts of your journey that you might have been too busy or afraid to acknowledge. Many will dismiss this discomfort as a fleeting mood or a passing bad day, but you will recognize it for what it is. You've already sensed the tension in conversations that no longer flow naturally, The monotony and routines that once felt fulfilling, and the dreams you shelved to keep life stable or to avoid unsettling others. This moon doesn't shout. It whispers in a voice sharp enough to slice through illusion. It invites you to notice where you have grown bored with your own patterns, how often you say yes when you really want to say no, and how easily you dim your light to fit into spaces that no longer nurture your growth. The moon asks for honesty, not perfection, but a raw, unfiltered presence. It asks you to be truthful about who you are now, not for anyone else, but for yourself. As this energy swirls, you may find yourself revisiting recent moments that have lingered in your mind. A conversation left unresolved, an opportunity passed over with hesitation, a promise to yourself quietly forgotten. These are not random memories, but threads the moon gathers to reveal a pattern, a map of the terrain between who you were and who you are becoming. This map shows you the space where transformation is waiting to unfold, where the next step asks for deliberate intention and courage. Moving forward does not require destruction or chaos. It requires choice. Clear, conscious choices about what to carry with you and what to release. These choices are not made in haste, but in the quiet pause before falling back into familiar habits. It is in this stillness, in the tension between reaction and intention, that your truth emerges. This truth may feel fragile or uncertain, but it is real and vital. It's perfectly okay to feel lost or to realize that you've held on to something longer than you should have. This is not failure, but part of the human journey. What sets you apart is your willingness to keep listening, to remain open, and to believe that your life is speaking to you, sometimes in whispers, sometimes in roars. This moon turns up the volume on that voice, asking you to lean in rather than pull away. If you find yourself in this space, know that you are not behind or late. You are exactly where you need to be, awake enough to sense the shift, wise enough to pause and reflect, brave enough to ask the difficult questions. You already know what is pulling at your attention, the quiet internal tug, the small signs you might have brushed aside. This moon's energy does not come to sow chaos, but to bring clarity. Clarity that can only be found by listening deeply to the spaces between words, to the silence beneath the noise. Tonight, everything shifts, even if on the surface it appears unchanged. The page in your life story turns whether you are ready or not. This lunar energy is not a punishment, but an invitation. It does not come to scold or shame, but to peel away the layers of pretense, the illusions you have been living with. It holds a mirror up to you, a cosmic reflection that reveals what you carry on your back as you try to walk forward, unaware. There is something you've been delaying, a truth you've been circling, a boundary you've avoided. That delay is no longer static. It has gained momentum. What we postpone eventually becomes what pursues us. This is the first truth this moon brings to light. There are conversations you have rehearsed countless times in your mind, but have not yet voiced. There is a part of you that only emerges when you are alone, free from others' expectations and roles you have outgrown. You stand in the space between mere survival and truly living. You are not here to perform for anyone else, but to remember who you are beneath all the layers of compromise and concession. Every time you pretend that what you've outgrown is still acceptable, you lose a piece of your center, a fragment of your soul's essence. June 3rd's moon asks you to reclaim those lost pieces, to step out of the shadows you've been hiding in and into the fuller light of your authentic self. It challenges you to embrace your power, your vulnerability, and your truth with courage and grace. This day is not just an event. It is an invitation to awaken to your own deeper reality, to listen to your heart's quiet wisdom, and to take the next step on your journey with intention and love. So here's the question. This energy is quietly asking, what are you still agreeing to that your soul has already said goodbye to? This is the time to notice how often you ask your intuition to wait, how often you ignore the first signal because it feels inconvenient, how often you keep people in your life because they mean well, even when their presence no longer supports your growth. Familiar doesn't always mean safe. Long-standing doesn't always mean sacred. Not every obligation is a purpose in disguise. You've been told that endings are failures, that change means instability. But sometimes things need to end not because they're broken, but because you've grown beyond them. You don't owe anyone the version of yourself you were before you awakened to more. The moon understands this. That's why her light is gentle. It doesn't blind. It reveals, softly, steadily. She won't force you to act. She simply dares you to see. And once you've seen, you can't unsee. This isn't a moment about fixing. It's about facing. So how do you respond to this without running from it? You slow down. You listen, not for answers, but for resistance. Where do you hesitate? Where do you make excuses? Where do you hold on, even when you know it's time to let go? That's where the shift is trying to enter your life. The universe doesn't reward chaos. It rewards alignment. And alignment begins the moment you stop bargaining with what your soul already knows is over. You don't need to explain your evolution. You just need to live it, quietly, consistently, with integrity. Just like the moon, subtle but undeniable. This isn't a week for loud, dramatic changes. It's a time for subtle decisions that echo your truth. Quiet, repeated affirmations of who you are now. No more betraying your own timing to keep someone else comfortable. No more waiting for permission to rise. You don't need validation. You need your own blessing. And if things feel like they're unraveling, look again. Maybe they're not falling apart. Maybe they're finally falling into place. Maybe what looks like chaos is really space being made. Maybe what feels like loss is really clarity shedding its old skin. Let go of the timelines. Let go of the pressure to be figured out. Let go of the need to explain your in-between. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. The moon isn't here to take something from you. She's here to remind you, you already know. And what you do with that knowing, that's how the next chapter gets written. No one escapes the moment when truth finally arrives. And for many, that truth is quietly pacing behind their silence, behind the gap between their words and their actions. That silence is starting to grow heavier, not with noise, but with meaning. The kind of weight that signals a breakthrough is long overdue. You've learned how to carry things that were never meant for you, and you've convinced yourself it was strength. But this moon gently reminds you, true strength is choosing what to release. People might try to distort your clarity because it challenges their comfort. That's not your burden to carry. Your only job is to stay aligned, not to be liked. This isn't a season for approval. It's a season for truth. And truth often walks hand in hand with solitude, with quiet, with the kind of peace that doesn't need applause. Think about where you've been shrinking. Think about how often you apologize for your truth. That version of you had a purpose. It got you here. But it's not meant to take you forward. The moon isn't asking you to be fearless. She's simply asking you to be honest. And that honesty, that's where your power begins again. Be honest with yourself about what you truly want, even if you're not quite ready to say it out loud. Acknowledge what doesn't feel right, even if it all looks perfect on the surface. Tonight can be the moment you stop living a life that no longer fits who you are. It can be the stillness before you give yourself the freedom to let go. Not to run away, but to finally release. Because if you keep treating your inner knowing like background noise, nothing will ever really change. You weren't born just to manage and endure. You were born to live with clarity, to respond with wisdom, to recognize when it's time to say, "This is where that chapter ends." You're not here to cling tighter when the universe is clearly asking you to loosen your grip. This isn't about quitting. It's about returning what no longer belongs to you. And once you allow yourself to step into that truth, the fear begins to fade. Not because the risk disappears, but because you start to remember what's been quietly waiting for you on the other side of your resistance. Taking your time is okay. There's no shame in that. But don't mistake waiting for a sign as the same thing as walking toward your purpose. The longer you wait, the more persistent life becomes. And right now, life isn't whispering anymore. It's rumbling beneath your feet. This moon doesn't show up all at once. It reveals itself in waves, in signs, in people, and situations that no longer feel aligned. Don't let that confuse you. Let it guide you. You've spent so long tuning into everyone else's needs. Can you now take a moment and truly listen to your own? Deep down, a part of you already knows the choice that brings you home to yourself. It's usually the one that feels both frightening and absolutely right. That's the way forward. That's the door this moon is quietly opening, just enough for the brave to step through. Don't wait for it to feel easy or safe. Wait until it feels sacred. Because this energy doesn't chase noise or certainty. It calls to those who are aligned, the ones willing to move even if they only see the first step, not the whole path. Begin with what you know to be true. If something is draining you, it doesn't deserve your loyalty. That isn't selfishness. That's sacred self-preservation. And when you act from that place, a new kind of energy begins to move within you. It's not about forcing your way forward. It's about finally feeling free enough to do so. This moon isn't trying to test you. It's here to teach you. And you're not failing. You're waking up. Growth doesn't wait for a perfect moment. It just needs one honest decision. Sometimes that means walking away from the places that have felt too small for too long. Sometimes it means saying something that no one else is ready to hear, but your soul has been begging you to speak. This is your map now, and how willing you are to follow it determines how free you get to become. Some energies arrive quietly. Others come in with the force of thunder. This one brings both. On June 3rd, there's a shift you can feel deep within your bones. You might not have had the words for it yet, but you've sensed it coming. There's been a slow unraveling, a pull away from routines that once comforted you, conversations carrying tension, dreams feeling heavier than usual. It's not by mistake. This isn't just about the stars. It's about the alignment of your inner world with the truth you can no longer avoid. The moon's energy today doesn't arrive to soothe you. It arrives to shake things loose, not to hurt you, but to help you move. And when movement begins, everything that isn't real begins to fall away. You might be looking for transformation to show up as some massive shift, but this moment, the one you're in right now, this is the turning point. It lives in the small decisions, the words you almost didn't say, the habit you now recognize for what it really is, And the second you choose differently, you've already started answering the moon's call. Don't mistake this energy for chaos. It's clarity. It's here not to threaten you, but to invite you to stop living on repeat. This moon doesn't wait for you to catch up. It simply shows you what's no longer meant for you. That's the real warning. That's the true gift. Things will pick up speed from here. You'll be tested, yes, but no one's going to drag you forward. That choice will always be yours. Think of your life like a bridge. On one side is the familiar, comfortable, predictable, and maybe even painful, but known. On the other side is everything you've quietly longed for. The terrain of your becoming. You don't have to arrive with perfection. You just have to be willing to cross. This moon has carved a tiny opening in the ordinary, a slit just wide enough for light to spill through and for truth to escape. But what you carry through that opening matters. You can't bring everything. The old resentment, the hidden fear, the roles you've outgrown, they don't fit here. And while it's tempting to mourn what you leave behind, don't forget what you gain. When you release, you don't just lose. You regain space, direction, and energy. And with that, you build a new way of living. So ask yourself, what do you want to create next? Because when you respond to the timing of the cosmos with grounded, intentional action, that's when your life starts aligning. That's when all this poetry turns into real momentum. The moon may stir your waters, but it's still you who learns to navigate. And yes, sometimes the storm will come first. That's part of the clearing. In the coming days, people might not understand your silence. They may not know why your heart has changed. But you're not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to live in alignment with yourself. Your clarity doesn't need permission. It just needs your willingness to listen and act. There's a moment approaching where you'll recognize a familiar pattern. You'll feel the urge to fall back into old reactions. But this time, something in you will pause. And in that pause lies everything you've been searching for. That's the threshold. Step through. And when you do, don't look back hoping someone validates your choice. Look ahead, because that's where your transformation lives. This isn't about having all the answers. It's about being brave enough to stand in the unknown until clarity arrives. It's about choosing yourself even when it disappoints someone else. It's about recognizing that this discomfort you're feeling isn't a punishment. It's preparation. Every story needs a moment of change. Some arrive quietly. Others, like this one, come with unmistakable force. So now ask yourself, what if you finally said yes to the shift? Not from fear, but from faith. You've been waiting for the perfect moment, telling yourself maybe next week, after that one thing happens, when someone finally understands you. But those moments kept slipping by, didn't they? That job kept draining you. That person never saw your depth. This isn't about blame. It's about waking up. Because this moon isn't asking you to be flawless. It's asking you to be honest. It's revealing the difference between what you've been tolerating and what you actually desire. It's illuminating the cost of playing small to be accepted by people who were never equipped to see the real you. And yes, that realization might sting. But that sting is the crack in the mask you've worn for too long. It's what happens when pressure becomes transformation. It's what heat does, not to destroy, but to reshape. You are being forged into something stronger, and forging isn't soft. It doesn't happen quietly. It happens in the noise of disruption, in the tension between who you've been and who you're becoming. You can feel it already, can't you? That edge between silence and finally saying what's in your heart, between gripping tightly and choosing to release, between the voice you've quieted and the roar that's rising now. Don't ignore that voice. It's the most honest version of you, untouched by fear, unshaped by expectation. This moment, this turning point, it's not just another phase. It's yours. And it's going to ask a lot from you. Your comfort, your patterns, even some relationships you once thought were forever. But what you gain is worth it. You reclaim the real you, the one who doesn't apologize for feeling too much, the one who no longer dims their light to make others comfortable, the one who knows their worth, even when no one else in the room sees it. Yes, this is hard. Yes, it may feel lonely, but you didn't come here for ease. You came here to awaken, to rise again and again, even when your spirit is weary and the noise of the world is loud. Others may not understand. They'll say you've changed. They'll question your quiet. But they weren't there in the moments you whispered to the sky, asking for more. They didn't hear your soul begging for direction. But the moon did. This moon heard every silent prayer, every tired breath. This moon isn't just a glow in the sky. It's a mirror, showing you what you've known all along but tried to silence. That you're done waiting. That the future you dream of isn't going to fall into your lap. It's waiting for you to rise and claim it. So the question is, will you? Will you let go of the outdated roles you've played just to survive? Will you shed the layers that no longer reflect who you are? Maybe no one ever really taught you how to live, how to truly honor your soul, to choose yourself without guilt, to move when your spirit says move, even if your mind is afraid. And now, the question is right in front of you. Will you walk away from what feels familiar, even when it's quietly draining you? Will you leave behind the comfort that only pretends to be love, the routines that only pose as safety? What's rising under this moon isn't a prediction. It's a permission slip, a gentle but firm nudge from the universe that says, it's time to stop pretending. It's time to trust the timing of your life, even if no one else understands it. Because they were never meant to walk this path with you. And you don't owe anyone an explanation. You owe yourself a decision, a moment of clarity, a breath of courage. You don't need to convince the world, just yourself. Tomorrow, wake up and act like this moon meant every single thing it revealed to you, because the cosmos only echoes back the truths you're brave enough to whisper. That's when everything starts to shift, not in the stars, but in you. Transformation isn't only about change. It's about returning to the fire within you that you once silenced to survive. Returning to the wisdom your younger self held so easily. Returning to the stillness deep inside, the part of you that always knew what was real. This life is yours, and it always has been. Let this moon be the final push you've been waiting for. Let it break the illusion that you need some massive sign to move. Your heartbeat is the sign. This moment, June 3rd, isn't random. It's not just another date on the calendar. It's a threshold, a doorway. And not everyone will walk through. Some will turn their eyes away. Some will choose the noise over the knowing. Some will stay behind, lost in the fog of compromise. But not you. You've been feeling this for a long time. It's not something new or sudden. The signs, subtle and sometimes overwhelming, have been appearing all around you, whispering to your soul in ways words alone could never capture. The energy has been quietly building, like the tide steadily rising before it crashes ashore. This shift you sense, it didn't start with the moon's waxing light or with today's date on your calendar. It started inside you long ago, even before the stars began to spell it out in the sky. Deep within, a transformation has been underway beneath the surface of your conscious mind, evolving, growing, waiting for the moment you could no longer deny it. And now, that moment is here. You are finally ready. Not because the conditions are flawless or the path before you is illuminated in perfect clarity. No, your readiness isn't born from certainty or control. It comes from something far more profound. The moment you stopped needing everything to be perfect in order to move forward. You've learned, perhaps the hard way, what happens when you deny the call to grow, to change, to evolve. You've witnessed the consequences of turning away from your own inner truth. And more importantly, you've glimpsed what unfolds when you finally answer that call, when you say yes to your own becoming. So here you are, right now. And here, within this very moment, lies your answer. Step forward. Even if your hands tremble, even if your breath catches, even if your heart is heavy with fear, even if a part of you still wants to run, to hide, or to turn back, you are still here. And that fact, in itself, is immense. It is powerful. This is not some random video you stumbled across in passing. No, this message is exactly what your spirit has been asking for, what it has been quietly summoning you toward. June 3rd didn't merely appear on your planner or calendar. It marked you. It etched itself into your soul, calling you to wake up and step into your truth. Not everyone will understand the spiritual weight you carry right now. To the outside world, this may seem like just another day, another routine cycle of the moon. But you feel it differently. Something has stirred inside your chest. Something profound has shifted. There's a quiet rising happening within, a deep remembering of something ancient and sacred. It's a recognition that you can no longer afford to hide, to shrink, or to postpone the voice that has been whispering beneath the noise, beneath the chaos, beneath the surface for far too long. The moon didn't rise tonight just to be beautiful. Its glow, casting silver shadows and illuminating the night sky, holds a truth far greater than mere aesthetics. This first quarter moon, slicing through the darkness like a blade, carries urgency. It is not silent. It is not indifferent. It is divine. It is a spiritual alarm bell, ringing loudly through your very soul, calling you out of complacency and into action. The time for waiting, for someday, for when things feel right, is over. The time is now. Every lesson you've endured, every heartbreak you've carried in your chest like a secret weight, every time you resisted the path your soul was nudging you toward, every longing you tucked away because it didn't feel safe to express it. All of that is moving forward with this moon. But this movement is not meant to punish you or remind you of what you've lost. Instead, it is here to purify you, to cleanse your spirit so you can step through a newly opened door. You can no longer carry the old burdens, the old fears, the limiting beliefs through a threshold designed for your rebirth. You already know what must be left behind. That relationship that no longer serves your growth. That mindset filled with doubt and scarcity. That fear you've been calling logic, the one that quietly steals your peace and dims your light. It's time to stop calling it comfort. It is a distraction, a holding pattern designed to keep you safe from change. But safe doesn't mean alive. It means stuck. There is a reason this moment has come now. Not next week, not when the stars align more favorably, not when the path looks easier. It has come now because you are ready. even if your mind still whispers doubts and your heart hesitates. You do not need to have all the answers, nor do you need a complete roadmap laid out before you. This journey is not about control or certainty. It is about surrender. It is about trusting your own inner knowing, that deep, quiet voice that has been trying to guide you all along. You already hold the map inside of you. You just stopped looking at it because the noise of the world became too loud. But tonight, something inside flickers back to life. It might be soft, almost imperceptible, a whisper in the back of your mind or the warmth that rises in your chest. But it is enough. Transformations never begin with certainty. They begin with a willingness. The willingness to say yes even when your voice shakes, even when your steps feel unsure. That willingness is the offering of this June 3rd night. It is not bringing you answers. It is holding up a mirror, reflecting what has been waiting for your permission to rise. So breathe deeply. Look at your life with unflinching honesty. See it through the clarity of who you have always been beneath the layers of doubt and fear. The moon, in all its phases, never apologizes for its light. It waxes and wanes, it shines boldly and it retreats, but it never hides in shame. And neither should you. You are not too late. You are not too broken or too far behind. You are precisely on time for the life that is uniquely yours. When you begin to walk in alignment with that truth, something magical happens. The universe stops whispering and starts orchestrating. Doors open that once seemed locked. Guidance appears where before there was only confusion. Resistance begins to melt away, not because the path is easier, but because you have stopped blocking your own way. So pause here. Take a moment. Not with fear, but with a fire burning in your belly. Ask yourself, what would it truly mean to stop waiting for your life to begin? To stop postponing your own awakening and step fully into the light of your potential? Because this moon has already delivered its message. The energy is shifting beneath your feet. The alignment is here, and all that remains is for you to claim what has always been waiting for you. If this message has touched something deep within you, then speak it aloud. Type it into the comments. Say with intention, I hear the moon, and I am ready. Let those words be your declaration, your sacred promise to yourself, because this space we share, it's not about passive observation. It's about remembering who you are, realigning with your highest truth, and walking your path with presence, courage, and grace instead of postponing your life for later. And if this message reached your soul, stirred something you almost forgot was there, then don't leave. Stay in this space. Stay in this community. Subscribe not simply for another video, but for a journey deeper than astrology, beyond predictions. This is about your shift. This is a soul series, a sacred unfolding through shadows and light. And I promise you, the chapters ahead will go deeper. They will explore mysteries and rituals and revelations that will anchor you firmly as your life continues to evolve and expand. Turn on the notification bell, not for the algorithm or for fleeting digital engagement, but because your spirit craves more. More guidance, more clarity, more truth. And that is what I am here to offer you. And if this message touched you, if it has stirred the quiet corners of your heart, then share it. Not for the sake of numbers or popularity, but for the souls still wandering in silence, still searching for someone to say, it's time. Let this be that moment. Let this be the light that finds someone lost in the dark and reminds them how to breathe again. I see you. I honor you. I believe in the version of you that's been waiting for this moment, the one who is not far away, but just one brave decision from fully arriving. And we will walk this path together. In the next video, we'll explore the planetary alignments rising to meet your intentions, how to harness their energy in real time, how to align with them as you step further into your truth. This is not just guidance, it's your blueprint, your call to remember, your invitation to live fully, courageously, and in alignment with the deepest parts of yourself. I'll see you soon. This moment you're experiencing right now is the culmination of all that has come before and the seed of all that will grow from here. The moon's energy is a timeless reminder that transformation is always available to us, that rebirth is not just a myth or a metaphor but a living process. You have been carrying the weight of your past, the chains of doubt, the masks worn for others' comfort. And now, with this first quarter moon, you are being asked to lay them down. To release isn't easy. It demands courage that runs deeper than any surface bravery. It requires an inner strength, one that comes from embracing vulnerability and the unknown. You've learned to survive in the shadows, but now it's time to thrive in the light. The moon's call is sacred because it asks you not just to survive, but to awaken, to remember the fullness of who you are. Your spirit knows the way, even or your heart hesitates. It's the part of you that dreams in colors and sings without words. It's the part that has always been guiding you, even when you thought you were lost. Trust that voice. Trust the pull of your own evolution. The moon's light is reflecting that trust back to you. When you step forward, you might not see the entire path. That's okay. You don't need to. Each step you take will illuminate the next, just enough to keep you moving. That is the nature of growth. It unfolds in layers, slowly revealing the beauty and the challenges meant for you. Don't rush. Don't push against the process. Instead, breathe into it, surrender to the flow, and trust the timing of your soul. You are not walking alone. This community, this space, is here to hold you. Together, we share the journey, the fears, the breakthroughs, the doubts, and the victories. There is power in shared presence. There is magic in collective awakening. So lean in, listen deeply, share honestly. Because your story, your courage to show up, lights the way for others still waiting to find their own strength. Remember, the moon waxes and wanes, grows full, and then returns to darkness, only to rise again. Your journey is much the same. There will be times of clarity and times of shadow, moments when you feel zasiu, when you feel unseen. Both are necessary. Both are sacred. Both are part of your unfolding. You are more than enough, exactly as you are. You don't need to be fixed or perfected. You need to be seen and accepted. By yourself first, and then by the world. When you do this, you create space for your authentic life to emerge. When you do this, the universe responds with an orchestration of support signs, synchronicities, and miracles. So take this moment to honor yourself, to honor your journey, to honor the sacred shift happening within you. Step forward, even if your hands shake, because that trembling is a sign of life. It is the language of transformation. And this is your time to rise. You are ready. The moon is ready. The universe is ready. And together, we are ready to walk this path of awakening. One step, one breath, one sacred moment at a time.